Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is your girl, Laker Girl, and welcome to my channel. If you guys are new, please like, share, and subscribe. I would like to introduce to you guys my co-host, Angry Lakers Fan Media, and our special guest today, John Ireland.
Hi, y'all.
What's going on? Y'all already know me. Y'all know. Y'all should know this guy down there. Y'all should know everybody up here, y'all, by now. Y'all should know, especially the legendary John Ireland. I want to thank you personally for taking time out of your busy day to be up here, brother.
Happy to do it, you guys. A lot going on these days with the Lakers.
Too much.
Too much.
So, I know he's gonna start off with some questions. You going first, Laker girl?
Yes. My first question is, what is your thoughts on LeBron and Bronny playing together for yesterday's NBA draft?
Yeah, I'm not one of these people that is going to kill Bronny or kill the Lakers for doing this. Stuff like this happens all the time. Like Adrian Wojnarowski said yesterday, nepotism is a big deal in the NBA and in these circles. So I actually think it's a really cool story. 11 months ago, you guys, this guy was in a hospital wondering if he's ever going to be able to play again. And now he's got a chance to be the first guy ever to play with his dad. So with the 55th pick, you can do, not very many 55th picks make it in the NBA. So why not take a chance and maybe get a good story out of it? And I think that's what the Lakers are doing.
We're getting viewers in the comment section say there's an echo. I don't know where it's coming from though.
Do you guys normally wear headphones?
I do, but I don't have any headphones because I'm on my computer.
Yeah,
all right, keep the live going. I'm gonna come out and come in another way.
Okay. Portia, I think that the echo is between you and me.
Yeah, that sounds good. Talk now. Does it sound good now?
Yeah, better. What'd you do?
I think it was Angry's in.
Okay, so there it is. Yeah, apparently his he must have had the sound turned up too loud. So when he reconnects, we'll just tell him to turn it down. We should be good.
Yes.
In the meantime, what do you got for me?
My next question is, who do you think is going to be on JJ Redick's coaching staff?
That's a great question. I'm personally hoping that they get people with prior NBA head coaching experience. So, in other words, like I'll give you a name. I know Scott Brooks a little bit. He's a great guy. Used to be the head coach in Oklahoma City, head coach in Washington, played for more than a decade in the NBA, former coach of the year. And he's available. I think that Scott Brooks would be, and it doesn't have to necessarily be him. I mean, you could go get Nate McMillan. You could go get Stan Van Gundy. But I think, Portia, you want to have somebody on that bench who's been a head coach before, just so JJ isn't seeing these situations for the very first time. And I think if they do that, then they can go out and get guys like Rajon Rondo and Jared Dudley and former players, if that's what they want to do. But I think it's important to have some experience on that bench, and preferably somebody who used to be a head coach in the NBA. I don't know if they can do it, but that's what I'm rooting for.
Yes. I personally would love to have Rondo because he's a former Laker, and Jared would be good to have on the coaching staff.
I agree with you. And one thing about those two, about both Rondo and Dudley, is they'll shoot straight with LeBron and AD.
Yes.
If you're with LeBron and AD, a lot of people kind of kiss up to them. They're afraid to make them. They're surrounded by people that are afraid to make them mad or tell them the truth. But if you talk to LeBron and AD, they don't mind being coached. So if Rondo and Dudley, either one or even both, were added to the staff, that you're getting a lot of honesty there. Those guys don't have a filter, especially Rondo. So I think I think your idea is a really good one if they can get those guys. I mean, it's hard because other teams are going to try and get him. And in the case of Dudley, he's already under contract in the Mavericks. But I hope those conversations are had. When we were at the facility on Monday, Rob and JJ said they were both already talking to people and building a staff. So these conversations are ongoing. I think we're going to hear news about the staff, if not this weekend, but early middle of next week.
Yes. My last
Okay.
question for you: do you think it is possibility for Klay Thompson to be a Laker?
Oh boy, that would be great, wouldn't it?
It would.
I asked Michael that the other day. Clay made $40 million this year, and the last offer the Warriors made to him was for 2 years, 48, so 24 million a year. And Clay turned that down. That was at the beginning of the season. I don't know if that offer is still out there for him. The market has kind of changed. But I asked Michael, would Clay take less money to play for the Lakers? And Michael said, I can't speak for Clay or his agent. He said, but I think he would. The Lakers were his boyhood team. Kobe was his favorite player. He just bought a big house in the South Bay, and he could live in it and finish his career with the Lakers. And wow, Portia, would that be a great addition to our team? Just because think about all the times that LeBron and AD get double teamed. And not only can Clay shoot, he's got a super fast catch and release. So if you leave Clay to help double team LeBron or AD, I think he could really light it up for us. But he may have better options. He may have, and we don't know yet. He will know. We're taping this, or we're doing this, you and I, on Friday morning. Tomorrow, he'll be a free agent. So we could get news about Clay today if the Warriors want to keep him. If not, tomorrow he becomes available to every other team. If he falls to the Lakers with that mid-level exception or for something similar, I think the Lakers would just steal him. I think it'd be awesome. But I think it's a long shot, to be honest, but I would love it for it to happen.
Yes, I think that will be awesome too. We will go over to Angry to let Angry ask you 3 questions.
Okay.
And then we will go to the chat after Angry asks you 3 questions.
All right. Thank you, Laker girl. Before I ask my 3 questions, am I good? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And whatever you did, it fixed the problem. So good work.
I got a little bit of experience with StreamYard, so I try to make everything better. Try to sound better. But before I get to you, salute to everybody that's in the comments section showing love to Laker Girl, and salute to Laker Girl for having me. And once again, salute to John Ireland. I have a question for you. It's kind of putting you in the hot seat, all right?
No worries.
But that's my style. That's my style.
Yeah, no worries.
If you were the Lakers general manager, would you have fired Darvin Ham too?
It's a great question. I like Darvin a lot. I like his staff a lot. I think they worked really hard. I think it was pretty impressive that they got to the Western Conference Finals in his very first season. And this year they got a little unlucky when they drew Denver. I thought Denver was the worst matchup for us. I think if we would have drawn another team, we probably would have got out of the first round. But so I don't duck your question. I'll answer it this way. I often say, because we talk about this on my show a lot too, I often say that Rob can see things that I can't see. He can see the whole board, but I can't see it. And so I think that there were things going on there, particularly with the players, that Rob was talking to every day. I was with the players almost every day, but I wasn't talking to him about this. And I think he knew that the players were frustrated and he was trying to get them with. He's kind of working against the clock because LeBron, we don't know how much longer LeBron's going to play. And frankly, LeBron is probably going to opt out tomorrow and get a new deal. I think it's going to be with us. I think he's going to stay, especially now that we've drafted Bronny. Hopefully one thing leads to the other. But I can't see the whole board. So personally, I like Darvin a lot. I'll never criticize him. I saw how hard he worked. I think he'll get another opportunity to be a head coach. He was in terms of a guy to work for and with. You won't find a better guy. But I think I'll give you my theory on why I think they changed the coach. I think last year, go back to when they made it to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. That core group, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron, and AD were rolling. That group, they ripped through Memphis. They ripped through Golden State. They ran into Denver, and people remember that Denver swept that series. But you guys probably remember that all 4 of those games were close, really close. Like we just needed a couple of other things to go our way. So in the second year when Darvin came back, he was making tweaks, but he broke that group up. Like he benched D'Lo for a while. He benched Austin for a while. He benched Rui for a while. And the players I talked to, they liked Darvin, but they didn't understand that. They didn't understand the lineup changes. And I know why Darvin did it. He was trying to get the Lakers to play more defense, to be better defensively. That's why he put guys like Taurean Prince and Cam Reddish into the starting lineup. But the thing about those guys is you don't have to guard them. They're not threats. So I think that when the team started to lose in year 2, the players got frustrated. They were asking me, they were asking everybody, why aren't we going with the lineup that ripped through the playoffs the year before? And I think had those lineup changes worked, then Darvin would still be here. But because they didn't work and he kind of broke up a unit that made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals, I think that's when the train kind of came off the rails. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Because me watching as a fan, I really didn't get it. Like I would be like going with what's working. Like I don't understand anything he was doing and parts of the time, and I don't know. I don't know. You could tell a lot of the fans were frustrated. And they didn't want to play. We saw that infamous clip with D'Lo on the sidelines, and I don't know what he was doing, but
yeah. Well, and part of this too, guys, if I'm being completely honest with you, is I am a big D'Angelo Russell guy. I'm a big Austin Reeves guy. Those are the two guys on the team that I talk to more than any other. Like them both. I know a lot of Laker fans might disagree with me, but I really hope they bring Russell back, that he either opts in and they keep him, or he opts out and they find a way to make the money work and bring him back. I know he didn't play great in the postseason, but I've been around him enough and I've called enough of his games to know he's really hard to replace. It's really hard to find 19 points a game who shoots 41% from 3. So I'm a D'Angelo Russell fan, personally and professionally. I'd love to see the Lakers make it work. I think it's a coin flip whether or not he's back this year, but just personally, my own, and I'm biased for all the reasons I just explained to you. I would love to see him back with the Lakers this year. We'll see what happens.
I mean, because me personally, I've been hearing if he opts out, names like Trae Young and stuff been coming up from fans and all that. But I'm like, if you looking for another scoring point guard, we got him in D'Angelo Russell already. Might as well just keep D'Angelo Russell. I mean, he can drop 30 to 40 on a hot night.
Right. And let's just take your one example. Let's say you did move in whatever way it was executed, free agency, trade, whatever, move out D'Lo and bring in Trae Young. And I love Trae Young. Trae Young's a great player. But Trae Young's contract is way bigger than D'Angelo. It's like twice the money. So it limits what you can do elsewhere. One of the reasons I like D'Angelo is because it gives them money to keep guys like Jared Vanderbilt and Rui and all these other dudes that helped us get to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. I think that the Laker fans I talked to, you guys know this because you've been doing a Laker show for a while. The Lakers are a win or you're fired job. If you're a coach, you got to win or you're fired. So I understand why Darvin tried the lineup tweak. They were in a losing streak. He had to try something. But I think that's when he lost the team. And I also think that D'Angelo had bad playoffs. We're used to having playoff success. So everybody says, okay, let's go get somebody else. It's hard to find somebody that puts up those numbers and this is my main point, you can get for $19 million. And that's the case right now with Russell. Now he's going to play for a different salary next year, whether it be for us or somebody else, unless he opts in. But I think put all those things into consideration, all the things you asked about: fit, offense, salary, which is important here. I think D'Lo checks all those boxes. So that's why I'm not as down on him as maybe other people are.
Okay. My second question to you. Thanks for asking that question, because I think a lot of people probably would have ducked that question. So
Sure.
thank you for answering that.
Sure.
I made a rant video yesterday on my channel because I see a lot of Laker fans, want to stop being fans because we drafted Bronny James. I'm personally the type of Laker fan that's team first. I don't care who's there, as long as you do your job. What do you think Bronny's role is going to be? And do you think he's going to be in the summer league?
I do. And I'll expand even farther when you ask what I think his role will be. Rob talked about this yesterday after they drafted him. He did some media. We got to be patient with this guy. He's 19 years old. Think about this. 11 months ago, it was his cardiac arrest incident. 11 months ago. And, so less than a year ago, we didn't know if this kid was ever going to be able to play basketball again. And yet everybody, not necessarily our station, but the other stations around town, some of the national media, they keep pointing to the fact that, well, he couldn't even light up the competition at USC. He only averaged 4 points a game at USC. Guys, he was lucky to play at all at USC last year. Doctors didn't clear him until the middle of the season. And I don't get this Bronny hate. I really don't. I actually think it's a really cool story. And what Rob said yesterday was he's 19 and we're going to develop him. And that's the answer to your question, what his role is. His role is to let the Lakers develop him. All right. He's going to play in the summer league, probably both in Sacramento and in Vegas. That's my thought. I haven't confirmed that with the Lakers, but it's a guess, educated guess. Then next year, he's going to be one of those stay ready guys. Every team has a stay ready group. If you didn't play more than 20 minutes the night before, you get to the game early the next day. You play against the coaches. You play against the other guys that didn't play, just in case the situation comes up in the game and they got to throw you in there. That way you're ready. Bronny is going to be, when he's age 20 and he's age 21, he's going to be developing. We won't know what he is for another couple of years. The best comp for this is Max Christie. When Max Christie came to the Lakers out of Michigan State, he was skinny. He was overwhelmed. He didn't look great in practice. I'm telling you guys, this kid can play. Max Christie can play in the NBA. He's going to get minutes next year. His body looks different now. His confidence is different. He's jumping higher. He's running faster. Look at when you guys see Max Christie play this year, you're going to say, wow, he's turned a corner. Bronny is where Max was 2 years ago. He's got to develop, and we got to let him develop. We got to be patient. But I'm not down on this story at all. The 55th pick, guys, never – I don't want to say never – rarely works out in the NBA, rarely even makes a roster. So the Lakers did, I think, two smart things. Number one, they did a favor for LeBron because LeBron has to be making a decision if he's going to come back to the Lakers or not. So now, let's say LeBron was thinking in the back of his mind there was a 10% chance he's going to go somewhere else. Now that's harder because the Lakers did him a favor. They drafted Bronny, and he has a chance to play with his son. That's never happened before in the NBA. And LeBron's a big student of history. That's number one. And the other thing that it did was I think the Lakers look at their team as a family business. Jeannie knows it's $1 billion company, but she treats everybody like it's her family. And this kind of goes along with that. I mean, she did a favor for LeBron with the 55th pick, a guy who probably wasn't going to play or make the team anyway. And now it's a really cool story about a guy getting a chance to play with his kid. And the kid 11 months ago, we didn't know if he'd ever be able to play basketball. So I'm leaning into it, and I like it. I'm kind of the opposite of what you're hearing other places. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I honestly think it's going to be must-see TV. And another thing I brought up about the whole Bronny being drafted is that I don't even know why they're so mad. He was the third to the last pick. I mean,
right.
It's not like we spent the 17th pick on him. So it's like,
that's a good point. I think if they would have used 17 on him, the pick they used Dalton Connect for, and by the way, we can talk about him if you want. They stole him. There's no way that guy could have been available at 17. But had they done that, had they said, we can't run the risk that somebody else is taking Bronny, we're going to use a first-round pick on him, I think then they would have been open to criticism. But with the 55th pick, really, we're gonna make a big deal out of that? Like, I said this, I did another podcast earlier today. I said this: if the three of us were asked to name 55th picks in the NBA draft, we'd have trouble coming up with any. And if all three of us could answer it together, so they're not taking a big leap here. I think that people are looking at this the wrong way. This is a good story, not a bad one. I mean, it's kind of cool.
It is really cool. And I'm gonna get to my last question for this segment.
Sure.
Of course, we all know that you're a play-by-play announcer for the Los Angeles Lakers. You do a great job, in my opinion. You and Michael Thompson. Was there anybody that influenced you besides Chick Hearns, like whether from any other sport, or any other basketball team that influenced you to be a play-by-play announcer?
This is a great question. And I've gotten it before, but haven't answered it in a few years. And I love talking about this. So thank you for asking it.
Oh, no problem.
I feel like I am incredibly fortunate to have grown up in Southern California. When I was a kid, growing up, Chick Hearn was the Laker announcer. Bob Miller, the Hall of Fame hockey announcer, was the Kings guy. Dick Enberg, Hall of Fame announcer, was the Angels announcer, and Vin Scully did the Dodgers. So I had 4 Hall of Fame announcers growing up listening to, and it was like I was going to sportscaster school. I didn't hear a bad announcer, a bad play-by-play announcer, until I left to start my TV career. And when you go into TV news like I did, I was a TV news sportscaster. I was like what Jim Hill and Rob Fukuzaki do. I did that for 25 years. And you have to go live in small towns. So I went to Monroe, Louisiana, and Beaumont, Texas, and San Diego. That's a typical story for people that are sportscasters. But guys, I didn't know what a bad announcer sounded like until I moved, until I got out of LA. And when I got to those other towns, I went, wow, I always wanted to be an announcer, but man, I can do it. I was tutored by the 4 greatest announcers of all time. So it wasn't just Chick, and Chick's my favorite announcer ever, but I got to hear Vin Scully, Dick Enberg, and Bob Miller call games. And so when it became my turn, when I got to UCLA, I kind of felt like Luke Skywalker, and I had Yoda as my teacher. You know, I was like, I had those 4 guys showing me how to do this. So that's how I got to where I am. I was trained over the radio and TV by those 4 guys, and they didn't even know they were doing it. And I'm incredibly grateful for it and feel really lucky that I got to grow up here.
Yes, me personally, I actually was exposed to the Dodgers before I was exposed to the Lakers growing up in Los Angeles. So I heard a lot of Vin Scully, and of course, I used to listen to Chick Hearn before he passed away. I just have to ask you that question, man, because a lot of times you paint a picture while you calling the games, just like Chick did. So I just have to ask that question, man, and I appreciate you.
It's a great question, and I'm actually stealing that from Chick. I will do games, guys, where, and I'll tell you why I think it is, where I'll be doing a game and I'll throw out a phrase that I've never said before and didn't think about saying. Like I'll say, Austin Reeves yo-yoing up and down, waiting for the plate, yo-yoing up and down. That came from Chick. Nobody ever said the phrase slam dunk until Chick. Put him in the popcorn machine, game in the refrigerator. These are all Chickisms. And I think the reason they pop out of my mouth, and Bill McDonald, our TV guy, would tell you the same thing. We grew up listening to Chick. And when I was a kid, this is kind of funny because I still don't sleep today. I've never been a big sleeper. I'm one of those guys that sleeps. I'm like Kobe was. I sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. That's it. My parents, trying to be good parents, would tell me when I was in middle school and high school, you got to go to bed. It's 11:30 at night. It's midnight. You can't stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning and then get up at 7 to go to school. It's not healthy. So I would take a transistor radio. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's about the size of a phone, and it was an AM radio, and you just turn it on and you could listen to the radio. And I would put it under my pillow so I could hear Chick, but my mom couldn't hear it out in the hallway. She thought I was sleeping, but I was really listening to Chick do the games. And so that's where I think almost by osmosis, I'll throw out Chick phrases. And I tell any aspiring announcer, like when high school or college kids get a hold of me and they say, I want to do what you do. How can I get there? Go onto YouTube, type Chick Hearn into a YouTube search. And if you're like me, you'll be there for 3 hours. You'll just listen to the way this guy described things, called things. And to your point, you said you got to the Dodgers first. The same way. My dad, when he knew I wanted to be an announcer, came to me and he said, you know, if you're going to do this for a living, you need to know about more than just basketball. You need to know more about. So I go, no, I don't. I just need to do the games. And he said, listen to Vin Scully. He talks about everything. So I did. And Vin did. It was like You got a history lesson, a pop culture lesson, a music lesson, all at the same while he was calling a baseball game. So those guys were invaluable to me. And you too, if you're out there, if you're watching this and you want to be a sportscaster, go onto YouTube. And we didn't have this option when I was young, but you guys have it. Type in Chick Hearn, type in Vin Scully, and just listen to the way these guys called games. And it'll rub off on you, because it sure rubbed off on me.
Yeah, y'all will be in for a treat, I'll tell you that. And like Mr. 81 said, shout out to Stu Lance as well.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's been there for a long time.
Yeah, great guy too. You guys would love him. One of the nicest guys around. Really cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
John Arlen, I have a question from somebody on the panel. His name is DJ Lakers and 5. He wants to know, what is the best Lakers championship?
Okay, I'm biased. It's a great question, DJ. Probably the factual answer, the one, if I was being objective, if I was a history professor, would be the 1971-72 Lakers that won 33 games in a row. That record still stands today. The starting lineup on that team at the start of the season was, get a load of this, the guards were Jerry West and Gail Goodrich, both in the Hall of Fame. Wilt Chamberlain at center, Hall of Fame. Elgin Baylor at one forward, Hall of Fame. And Happy Hairston at the other forward, one of the best rebounders in the NBA at the time. Elgin, after 5 or 6 games that year, got hurt and had to retire. The injury wasn't going to be able to play through it. So when I got Jim McMillan, a really good shooter. Bill Sharman was the coach, another Hall of Famer. And they rattled off 33 straight wins. And then they got to the finals and won it. They finished 69-13. So DJ, statistically, that's it. But you asked me, so I'll give you this. 2001 Lakers, the middle of the Shaq Kobe three-peat. That team at the end of the year, nobody was beaten. And they went in the playoffs that year, 17-1. Do you guys remember the one game they lost?
Against Philly.
Good memory. Iverson went off 48 points. It's the Ty Lue step over game when nobody could guard. So Iverson just willed them to victory, but the Lakers won that series in 5, 17-1 in the playoffs. I think they won 67 games that year. Nobody was beating the Lakers that year. So my personal favorite championship team is the 2001 Lakers. Statistically, 72 Lakers are probably the best team.
That was an excellent question. Shout out to Lakers and 5.
John, I have a bonus question for you. What is your favorite Kobe memory, if I may ask?
I have a ton of them. And there are a lot. I probably, all right, for me, it's between the 81-point game on that Sunday night when it was funny. There's a producer working at KCAL, a guy named Patrick, who was in high school at the time. And he reached out to me through a family friend. And he said, hey, I'm thinking about going into TV sports as a job, but I'd like to see what it entails. Can I come shadow you at a game? Can I come follow you around? And back then, I can't do it anymore. The Lakers won't let me. The tickets are the passes are too hard to get. But back then, I could get them. And I said, yeah, there's a game this Sunday night that's going to be kind of a quiet night because it's up against the AFC and NFC championship games. The Lakers are playing Toronto. Come and follow me. And that was Kobe's 81-point game. And I did a live shot with Jim Hill on Channel 2 about a week ago. And Patrick is still working in the business. He's at Channel 2. He basically picked that game to shadow me and follow me around when Kobe had the 81. But for me, guys, my favorite Kobe memory is his last game ever, when he scored 60 points in his final game. It was on a terrible Lakers team. That team was going nowhere. But nobody in that building predicted what was about to happen. It was like a rock concert. Everybody that had followed Kobe over his career showed up to say goodbye to him. He missed his first 5 shots. I looked at Michael and I said, man, I just hope he can get maybe 20 points, maybe 30 points, so he doesn't go out on a lemon. I don't want him to go out like 0 for 10, didn't score. That'd be terrible. So after he missed those first 5 shots, he started heating up. and it just started going up like an elevator. He got to 20, 30, 40, 50. And I looked at Michael and I went, he might score 60 points in this game. And sure enough, he did it. And if you want to, if you go on YouTube and type in Kobe's last game, John Ireland, Michael Thompson, one of our listeners, a guy named Kevin Smets, shout out to Kevin, took our radio call of the last 8 minutes of that game and matched it up to the TV picture so you can hear us call that game, and you'll just hear disbelief in our voices. We can't believe what is happening. We actually go back every August 24th on my radio show, and we play those last 8 minutes as a tribute to Kobe. But that's my favorite Kobe memory, is his last game, because I don't think anybody else will ever do it. I don't think anybody else will ever score 60 points in their last game. So that would be the one for me.
That would have to be my favorite memory of Kobe too.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable night. There were so many, Portia, there were so many people in the street that night that they had to close the streets because it was like there were just thousands of people partying in the street. As it was basically like a farewell party to Kobe. And he delivered incredibly. If you talk to anybody, even you talk to the Utah guys, they'll tell you it's a night they'll never forget. It was absolutely magical, unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yes, it was amazing. We will go to. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
We'll go to the chat for some questions for you, John. If anybody has any questions that they would like to ask you.
Yeah, I make sure y'all put y'all questions in the comment section real quick.
Yes.
John Ireland is a very, very busy man, y'all.
Yes.
No, I'm happy to hang. I have to take my son someplace at like 45, but I'm all yours until then.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Well, okay. We got a question from African Gamer. He said, "Who is the greatest Laker to you?"
Well, it's similar to the question you asked me before. The greatest Laker team is probably that 72 team because of how many Hall of Famers they had. But I'm going to throw another one into the mix. The 87 Lakers, the team that Michael joined mid-season, had, number one, they had a ton of number one overall picks on that team. Michael was one, Kareem was one, Magic was one, Worthy was one. You just don't see 4 number one overall picks on the same team very much. And they ripped through pretty much everybody, including the Celtics. And back then, guys, it's hard to explain. The rivalry between the Lakers and Celtics was crazy. The Celtics won the title in 84, Lakers in 85, Celtics in 86. So they meet in 87. And it's like a match of two superpowers. And the 86 Celtics were the best Celtics team ever. Really, really good. Bird, McHale, Parrish, DJ. And so considering who they beat that Celtics team with all those Hall of Famers in 87. That might be the answer. Because not only did the Lakers have all their Hall of Famers, but they knocked off a team with a bunch of other Hall of Famers. And they did it in 6. That was an unbelievable series, super tight. And I think that 87 Lakers team is as good as any team we've ever seen. So I would say it's a coin flip between the 72 and 87 Lakers. Probably depends how old you are and what you remember, but it'd be one of those two.
Okay.
The next question comes for Cuba, John Ireland. Any memorable moments or games that you have covered that stand out?
Well, a ton. We talked about, Kobe's last game, and we talked about the 81-point game. But there have been, I've been fortunate enough to cover 8 finals. And the finals are kind of an animal of their own. I wish I could take all the Laker fans to a finals game in Boston. Because I'll see if I can, I won't be able to do it justice, but I'll see if I can set the scene for you guys. The TD North Garden is right on top of a subway station in downtown Boston. So nobody drives to the games because there's no parking. You just take the train and it drops you off literally inside the arena. So that gives Celtic fans a license to party as much as they want because none of them are driving. And so and by the way, there's tons of bars and restaurants in that part of downtown Boston. And think about this, guys. Our games, when we have a finals game out here, starts at 5:30, 6 o'clock. That's 8:30, 9 o'clock in Boston. Back then, the games tipped at 9:15. And these fans are hammered. I mean, they are drunk. And so the Lakers come in, and from the minute they take the court for warmups, it's a sea of booze, of middle fingers, of FUs, blah, blah, blah. And there is nothing like shutting those guys up. If the Lakers can find a way to win in Boston in a finals game, because these fans are ready for a party, they're all hammered, they're screaming at the Lakers, they're screaming obscenities, it's ridiculous. And then Derek Fisher hits a big shot, or Kareem hits a skyhook, or Magic hits the baby skyhook, and the whole place goes dead quiet, and they all walk to the train station with their heads down. There is nothing like that. So, Portia, that's how I would answer that question. Is my favorite experience that I've had is being part of the Laker party when they win a game in Boston during the finals, because it is nothing like shutting those guys up.
Thank you for answering that question.
Thank you for answering that. That was well put right there. I love shutting Boston fans up too. I hate it. I can't
by the way, if you guys ever get a chance to go to a Lakers Celtics game in Boston, take it, because it's super fun, and you guys would enjoy it. And the minute you show up, like Angry, if you show up wearing the hat you're wearing right now, you'll get middle fingers the second you step out of it.
I'll give them back.
Michael and I just are like, bring it on. Let's go. You know, we know you're all talk. Let's go. Let's have some fun with this.
And I give them right back.
You're right.
The next question comes from Sammy the Man. It says, "Salute John, Laker Girl." It's "Salute John, Laker Girl, and John Ireland. My question to you is, do you think there's an update backcourt, any changes or trades coming in talks? And are the Lakers looking for a center now?"
Okay, good question. And here's how I'll answer it. Keep your eye on the next 48 hours. I'll answer it too. Okay, so first I'll tell you about the Lakers. The linchpin for the Lakers is D'Angelo Russell. He's make a decision. He's either going to opt out or opt in. He's a player option on his contract. He's going to opt out, and then he becomes an unrestricted free agent. That gives the Lakers some more flexibility. If he opts out and LeBron opts out as expected, and they can cut a deal with LeBron where he takes a little less money, he doesn't have to, and he might not want to, but if he did, it would give the Lakers a full mid-level exception and allow them to go out and make a few more moves. I think if I was LeBron, what I would say is, I'll consider it, but tell me who you're targeting. What are you going to use the money for? And maybe they can come to consensus. So that if D'Lo opts out, that provides them with some more possibilities and some flexibility depending on what they give LeBron. Now, let's say he opts in. Then he becomes a candidate to be traded. That's a very tradable contract, $19 million expiring contract for a good player, a guy who averages 18 points a game, shoots 41% from three, or they could keep him and bring him back. So once we hear what D'Angelo Russell is doing, then that leads us to part two of this. Then he becomes one of the dominoes. The biggest domino is Paul George. What does Paul George do? Does he stay with the Clippers? Does he go to the Sixers? If he stays with the Clippers, do the Sixers go after Klay Thompson? Because he may be a free agent. If the Sixers don't get Klay, would Klay consider coming to us for less money? Where does Chris Paul go? So over the next 24 to 72 hours, we're going to, the start of free agency, all these dominoes are going to start to fall. So if you're the Lakers, watch D'Angelo Russell. And let me address the second part of his question where he said, are they looking at a center? I think they would love to find somebody who could play maybe 20, 25 minutes at the 5 to let Anthony Davis go to the 4. You don't want to put AD at the 4 for the whole game, even though that's his preferred position, because then LeBron has to guard threes. And at this stage of his career, he probably doesn't want to do that. But when we play a team with a big center, we play Denver with Jokic, play Philly with Embiid. Like, I'll just throw a name out there. Jonas Valanciunas is a free agent. If they could reach a deal with him, it'd be great. He can play the 5, AD slides over to the 4, and you go from there and do it that way. So I think they are looking for size. I think they are looking for a center. Just got to be the right fit and the right salary, and then they'll go from there. But the next 24 to 48 hours will answer a lot of these questions because we're going to see where all these guys go.
Okay, John Ireland, I'm going to let you have the last 5 minutes because I know you have to wrap up your show. If you could tell Lakers fans where to keep in contact with you on all the Lakers' latest news.
What I would, if you want to know what I know, the easiest way to do it is to listen to my radio show every day on ESPN LA. Right now we're on from 1 to 4. In the fall, in September, we're moving back an hour. So I'll be on from 12 to 3. When the Lakers season starts, I'll be on noon to 3 every day. And the easiest way to do that is to download the ESPN LA app. It's free, and you can download it. And we have over 500 hours of live play-by-play programming on that app. We're the home of the Lakers, the Rams, LAFC. We just got USC back. We're adding a ton of live programming to that app. And even if we're on the air, like let's say there's a Laker game on and you want to listen to USC, USC's on the app. And the app, again, is free. If you download it, there's a bunch of buttons on there. What do you want to listen to? Do you want to listen to Mason and Ireland? Do you want to listen to the Laker game? Do you want to listen to USC? You just pick the button. All of our podcasts are on there too. So you can go pick the button that you want to listen to, and you can listen to it wherever you are, in your car, on a plane, whatever you want to do. But that's the easiest way to follow me. If you want to follow me on social media, the only thing I do is X, what used to be Twitter. I have an easy handle to remember. It's at LA Ireland. Just LA and my last name, Ireland. That's how you guys found me. And then eventually Portia and I connected and we set this up. So if you ever want to get to me, if you have any questions directly for me, or if you want to, find out what's going on, you can always contact me on X at LA Ireland. And those are the two easiest ways. I'm not hard to find, guys. I'm either at a game or on the radio at the radio station, or I'm at home. Those are the only 3 places I ever go. So I'm one of those guys that's working all the time. And so that's the easiest way to get me.
All right. So I hope y'all was writing that down. You don't got time to say it again. So hopefully y'all wrote all that down.
I have one. So I just want to thank everybody for supporting me with this interview. John Ireland, I thank you for you taking your time out to come on and supporting me. And I just want to let you know that you're welcome to come on anytime and talk Lakers basketball.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. Good luck with your show, and go Lakers. Have a great day.
And I want to thank my co-host, Angry Lakers fan, for always showing up. This is your girl, Laker Girl. I'm a ride or die Lakers fan until the end. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time, have a good day.